Guys, this is something I've been working on for basically over a year. I have decided to compile all of the movies, video games, TV shows, and albums that I've consumed that were released in the year 2025. 51 movies, 26 albums and songs, 12 TV shows, and 11 video games, culminating in a total of 100 pieces of media. And yeah, that actually doesn't sound like that much, but trust me, it was a huge undertaking for me. And you're probably wondering why I'm posting this in February. It's because it took me until January to finish this list. Bruh. So essentially, I've been working on this video for a little over a year. It took so long recording the clips I needed for this video and recording me speaking hundreds of lines, no joke. But now, it's finally here. In this video, I'm basically just gonna go over my rating for this certain piece of media and a little speech about my opinion of it. However, if I've already rated and reviewed a certain piece of media on this channel before, I'm not gonna do the whole thing again. So I'll just have some text above the screen that just says, hey, I already did this, check out the video that I already reviewed it in. And I'm gonna try to avoid saying any spoilers throughout my list, but if I deem the spoiler crucial to my opinion, I'll have like a spoiler warning up ahead for the segment that I say it in. So before we actually get into the list, let me explain what I'm going to be including in this list and what I'm not going to be including. For movies, I only included ones that were officially released in the United States in the year 2025 in a way that I could feasibly watch it. So no like film festival exclusive movies. But that does mean that film festival exclusives that were released in 2024 and were officially released in 2025 do count towards this list. That's it for movies. Now talking about albums. I was really debating whether I should or shouldn't include deluxe versions of albums to this list. I came to the conclusion that if the original album was released outside of 2025, then I would not be including the deluxe version, but I would be including the bonus songs individually in this list. However, if the original album came out in 2025, I would also include the deluxe version as a whole. That is, if I listened to it. As for TV shows, what I mean by TV shows is individual seasons. And what I decided is that for seasons to actually count towards this list, their final episode would have had to have been released in 2025. So seasons that started in 2025 but ended in 2026 do not count. But seasons that started in 2024 and ended in 2025 do count. And last but not least, the video games. The only distinction I made was games released in early access and games that released early demos. Demos will not count towards this list, but early access games will. Okay, so that is all out of the way now. But by the way, if you were curious, yes, I do have a Letterboxd account where I rate movies. And if you want, you can go follow me over there. And yes, I do also have an Album of the Year account, which is basically a rating website for music. So if that sounds cool, you can check that out too. And lastly, I have a Backlogged account, which is a rating website for video games. So if that also sounds cool, you can check that out as well. Okay, so now with all those stipulations out of the way, let's finally get into this beast of a video. If I had a nickel for every movie that I saw that started out kinda mid, only to turn into absolute dog shit by the end of it, I'd have 2 nickels. Which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it happened twice. In all seriousness, there are quite a few shots in this movie that I love, and there's some interesting dreamlike scenes that are cool, which sucks because when we get to the end of the movie, we find out that the only reason it was even made was for The Weeknd to give a half-assed apology to all the people he's wronged in real life. That's it. And then it loops back to the beginning. Don't get me fucking started on that bullshit. What a pretentious shit show.
Shut the up! And that's horrible. Weezy F, baby, and the F is for phenomenal.
Now, before I start explaining my rating, let me just say that going to see this movie with Carter and David was an incredible experience. Watching it in a full theater, shouting out the references before I started throwing stuff, and getting the McDonald's meal afterwards is just a highlight of my life. However, there's no denying that this movie is terrible and stupid, in a bad way. It has action, it has Jack Black, and in my opinion the animation is good, but that's about all the positives. There is no excusing that script. I mean, there's also like a couple genuinely funny moments in there, but that's it. Come on, Jared Hess, I expected more from you.
Slime cube!
And that's horrible. Weezy F, baby, and the F is for phenomenal.
I see a lot of people dogging on this, not really because of the movie itself, but for what it represents. And what it represents is something along the lines of being disgraceful to movies as an art form because studios would just make lifeless movies that they think will appease people for the sole purpose of monetary gain. And while I agree with that sentiment, I only want to focus on the movie itself for my rating. And yeah, this movie is lifeless corporate schlock, not much to it. It is exactly what you think of when you imagine a PG-13 Netflix sci-fi movie.
And that's horrible. Weezy F, baby, and the F is for phenomenal.
God damn it, I wanted this to be good, but no, it's just stupid. The story is abysmal, the twists are too, and so is the editing. Like, there's not much to like here. And it genuinely doesn't even deserve to be part of the Fear Street series because there's no magic involved. Oh yeah, the blood magically disappears in the end credit scene. The f does that even mean?
And that's horrible. Weezy F, baby, and the F is for phenomenal.
Bruno, what have you done? Okay, so let me preface this review by saying that I do not enjoy Sexy Red's music, mainly due to the lyrics. I'm not gonna judge you if you like them, but it's just not for me. So because of that, I can only try to find some sort of solace in the trap beats. And thankfully, it's listenable in this song. I also do think Bruno adds to the listenability of this song, but you know, it's still a terrible song overall.
And that's horrible. Weezy F, baby, and the F is for phenomenal.
Scott, what have you done? Please, Blumhouse, do not let him write the third movie by himself. It genuinely confounded me how bad the writing was at some parts. I also just hate the character arc of Vanessa, and having the whole movie focus on it just didn't sit well with me. It's also remarkable how laughably bad those last 10 minutes of the movie are. Holy. But props to this movie for being scarier than the first one, I guess.
And that's horrible. Weezy F, baby, and the F is for phenomenal.
Guys, I just play this for the memes. I don't even like visual novels. But even if you're someone who does like visual novels, there's little to no voice acting, so you can't even find enjoyment in that. The game was just so dull to me, and the actual gameplay is garbage. Nothing is like offensively bad though, so that's why it's not lower, but it is a bad game in my opinion. And the endings are dumb.
And that's horrible. Weezy F, baby, and the F is for phenomenal.
There's nothing terrible in this besides the CGI dwarves and Gal Gadot's acting. It's just straight up not a good adaptation. There's not much else to it.
And that's horrible. Weezy F, baby, and the F is for phenomenal.
On a serious note, I genuinely cannot believe how everyone loves Nokia. It is legit the worst song on this album, and on top of that, one of the worst songs I've ever heard. And it's hard to find a standout like that when there isn't a single good song on the entire album. Although Gimme a Hug was close to being good, but the Gimme a Hug keeps it down. And that's really all I have to say. It's just a bad R&B album, nothing special about it.
And that's horrible. Weezy F, baby, and the F is for phenomenal.
To this movie's credit, it can be very funny at times. Any other positives? No? Okay.
And that's horrible. Weezy F, baby, and the F is for phenomenal.
Yay, guys, the first video game on the list. Want to see how long it took me to beat it? Yeah, I could go on and on about this game for hours, but I won't. I'll just say my main positives and negatives really quick. Starting with the negatives, this game is ugly and low quality as hell. A lot of the controls are terrible, the combat is one note, and the story is extremely convoluted and stupid.
What the f is going on?
And they also do this.
What is going on? What?
So, what are the positives, you may ask? Well, there are some parts of the story that I actually do like. There's some interesting game mechanics, and the game is genuinely hard. Like, that's the main reason it took me so long to beat it. These two guys in particular. But overall, the negatives are just too great for me to think of the game as anything but bad.
And that's horrible. Weezy F, baby, and the F is for phenomenal.
Some context, I haven't listened to any of the Carters before listening to this one, so sorry about that. But this album did start out on a good note by beginning with two pretty good songs. And then Bells came on. Now, there are a few other good songs in this album as well, and I mean only a few, but there are so many god-awful ones. One of them being, yep, you guessed it, Peanuts to an Elephant, which is currently bottom 10 songs I've ever listened to, no joke.
And that's horrible. Weezy F, baby, and the F is for phenomenal. Weezy F, baby, and the F is for phenomenal.
Yeah, this just added a mid remix and another mid song.
And that's horrible. Weezy F, baby, and the F is for phenomenal.
Guys, I don't mean to spoil, but there's a woman in the yard, and that's f***ing it. I like what this movie has to say about depression, but it really doesn't have anything else of substance, bro. There's literally just a woman in the yard.
And that's horrible. Weezy F, baby, and the F is for phenomenal.
I feel like it's easy to hate on this movie because it really is nothing like the game. And as lenient as I am with adaptations and its accuracy to the source material, I do agree that it is a valid criticism this time around. But besides that, I feel like the movie only allows itself to be decent at most. There's a healthy amount of good horror and an equal amount of stupid horror. Throw in bad dialogue, good jump scares, cheap jump scares, a baffling time jump, and you've got yourself a mid-horror movie on its own. Add in the fact that it's nothing like the game, and you get my rating.
And that's horrible. Weezy F, baby, and the F is for phenomenal.
Hey, could we possibly try to rebirth again?
And that's horrible. horrible. Weezy F, baby, and the F is for phenomenal.
Don't get it twisted, I still don't like the album, but I do think it is a little overrated. I'm not just saying this because Arcade Fire is one of my favorite bands, but I thought the first song was pretty good, and I liked the title track and Alienation. Other than that though, yeah, not a good album.
And that's horrible. Weezy F, baby, and the F is for phenomenal.
Wow guys, it finally dropped, and it's not good. On the plus side though, there are many songs that I find at least decent. The problem though is that more than half of the album is buns. Like, you know you have a bad album when a Kendrick Lamar feature makes a song worse.
And that's horrible. Weezy F, baby, and the F is for phenomenal.
Oh, I thought you said presents. That was stupid, I'm sorry.
And that's horrible. Weezy F, baby, and the F is for phenomenal.
What an interesting idea, making an album by the people for the people, with one song at the end of it being made up of 1 second long audio pieces submitted by tens of thousands of people. Why did they just speed up most of the submissions and stuff them in the last minute of the song? Yes, that includes my submission. So not only did that song receive my very first 0 out of 10 rating, but I am severely disappointed. Also, the rest of the album isn't the best either. Although there are clear standouts, I'm definitely looking forward to whatever Jenna Pascal or Codex 33 do in the future. But just as for my submission, so I'm gonna play it for you guys right here, right now. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't anything special, but I'm still mad about it.
And that's horrible. Weezy F, baby, and the F is for phenomenal.
Holy glaze, bro. Everyone's acting like these 4 new songs are masterpieces and that Cardi has earned forgiveness. Well, I hate to break it to you guys, but these songs are of the same exact quality as the rest of the album and are in no way close to touching the status of Magnolia or R.I.P. or even Cocaine Nose for that matter.
And that's horrible. Weezy F, baby, and the F is for phenomenal.
So this is a bonus song from Freak Slug's album that came out last year, and unfortunately, I simply don't care for the lyrics, and it's overall just a mid song. 3, 2, 1.
I actually like licorice.
And that's horrible. Weezy F, baby, and the F is for phenomenal.
You know, I actually like the first Megan, and I wanted to like this one. I wanted to. Maybe if it focused more on its pure ridiculousness, I would have liked it, because when it does, it's great. But it tries to be serious too much, and it just doesn't work considering the bonkers plot and complete switch from thriller movie to action comedy.
And that's horrible. Weezy F, baby, and the F is for phenomenal. And that's horrible. Weezy F, baby, and the F is for phenomenal.
I'm not really a big fan of musicals, but I did like the first Wicked. Why? Well, because the songs were actually good and the story was interesting. That's not the case here, and I'm just gonna leave it at that. Although Wonderful is the best song out of both movies, prove me wrong.
And that's horrible. Weezy F, baby, and the F is for phenomenal.
Like Pink Elephant, I do think this is an overhated album, even though I still don't like it. It does have clear standouts, both good and bad. The song with Metro Boomin is pretty good, and the song with Drake is horrendous. Go figure.
And that's horrible. Weezy F, baby, and the F is for phenomenal. And that's horrible. Weezy F, baby, and the F is for phenomenal.
They do not give a about those kids.
And that's horrible. Weezy F, baby, and the F is for phenomenal.
I was really on the fence of whether I liked this movie or not. The action was cool and the story was kind of intriguing, but it also felt like not much was happening at the same time. So by the end, I was leaning towards not liking it, but then they played I by Kendrick Lamar during the credits and that won me over. So technically I didn't like this movie, but technically I did, so take that as you will.
And that's horrible. Weezy F, baby, and the F is for phenomenal.
I'm gonna hide my rating for this one, although you can probably figure out roughly what it is anyways. But I'm hiding it because I personally know the people who made this album, and I want them to have as much support as possible and not be bogged down by my personal numerical rating. And I still did like the album overall. If you're a fan of alternative, electronic, or East Coast hip-hop, then you're gonna find something to like on here. Please go check it out.
And that's horrible. Weezy F, baby, and the F is for phenomenal.
Yo, Mr. White. We're in space, yo.
And that's horrible. Weezy F, baby, and the F is for phenomenal.
Freak Slug is back with a brand new EP, and it's just alright. I like the first 2 songs, the third one is decent, and the last 2 are kinda mid. But Miss June is definitely a highlight. It kinda sounds like if the Smiths made a happy sounding song and were a woman, so if that sounds cool, definitely check it out.
And that's horrible. Weezy F, baby, and the F is for phenomenal.
I think it's called a ravine, buddy.
And that's horrible. Weezy F, baby, and the F is for phenomenal.
I have an ID!
And that's horrible. Weezy F, baby, and the F is for phenomenal.
Nice little comedic action movie that uses its premise wisely, and honestly, the twist got me. Just a little disappointing that the third act turns into a basic action movie.
And that's horrible. Weezy F, baby, and the F is for phenomenal.
So this was a short horror film that I saw on YouTube, and I mean very short. So I'll keep it brief. I really liked the blend of animation styles, and it had decent body horror. Just plain good overall.
And that's horrible. Weezy F, baby, and the F is for phenomenal.
Freak Slug's second and final bonus song of her last year's album. And while I'm still not a fan of the lyrics, it manages to be decent because of the beat. Yay!
And that's horrible. Weezy F, baby, and the F is for phenomenal.
What if I'm a cinephile who watches Family Guy?
And that's horrible. Weezy F, baby, and the F is for phenomenal.
The balls they had to incorporate a VHS-styled episode in this show.
And that's horrible. Weezy F, baby, and the F is for phenomenal.
Wait.
And that's horrible. Weezy F, baby, and the F is for phenomenal.
The frontman of TV on the Radio finally made a solo album. And hey, I'll take anything from one of them because it's been 8 years since the last TV on the Radio project. And you know what? It's good. Now, if it was a TV on the Radio album, it would be their weakest album, but it's nice to hear Tunde's voice again, and there's only like one song I don't like.
And that's horrible. Weezy F, baby, and the F is for phenomenal.
I know, my rating is pretty low for most people, and especially strange because I reference it in most of my Dispatch videos. Let me just say, the fight scenes are incredible, the animation's good, and the humor is 50-50, but when it hits, it hits. The thing is, most of the songs just don't really do it for me. Also, the pacing isn't good, and story-wise, I don't feel like the decisions made by the end are entirely earned. But overall, I think K-Pop Demon Hunters is a good movie.
And that's horrible. Weezy F, baby, and the F is for phenomenal.
This is the album, not the movie. So I'm not the biggest enjoyer of The Weeknd in general. I don't think he's ever made a great album, and this one is no exception. I wouldn't even say there's a great song on here besides Open Hearts. On the flip side though, there's only a couple bad songs here, so you know, it is what it is. A decent send-off to The Weeknd's music career.
And that's horrible. Weezy F, baby, and the F is for phenomenal.
Holy hell does the pacing of this movie zoom. But besides that, I was honestly so hyped for this movie to come out after being such a fan of the Captain Underpants movie, and guess what? It was good. Could have been better, but it kind of fell flat at the end.
And that's horrible. Weezy F, baby, and the F is for phenomenal.
Deep in its messages, lacking in its plot. Like the modern day equivalent to The Great Gatsby in that sense. They should have just made the movie about the woman who was assaulted. I was way more interested in that plot line.
And that's horrible. Weezy F, baby, and the F is for phenomenal.
Wow, Fanagram done released a deluxe version of their newest album already. And said deluxe version includes this very song, which is, you know, typical electronic pop song from Fanagram. That's pretty good. Not much to talk about.
And that's horrible. Weezy F, baby, and the F is for phenomenal.
I didn't think I would ever be rating a collection of Gradius games, but here we are. Let me put it this way, if you like Gradius, then this is your dream game right here. Not only does it have both the Japanese and English versions of the games, but it takes itself out of simple decency by including a brand new game. Y'all know what it is, Salamander 3. This is a collection that knows what it needs to be and becomes just that. Pretty good collection.
And that's horrible. Weezy F, baby, and the F is for phenomenal.
I saw these guys rapping on my For You page a few months ago, and I was instantly looking forward to any project these guys were going to be making. And to my surprise, they went and released a whole album this year. And yeah, it was pretty good. Go check it out.
And that's horrible. Weezy F, baby, and the F is for phenomenal.
Honestly, guys, this movie is just kind of decent when you break it down, but it is heavily carried by its fantastic visuals and incredible dialogue that seems like it's been underappreciated for those who saw it. But nonetheless, cute movie. I would recommend it.
And that's horrible. Weezy F, baby, and the F is for phenomenal.
Now don't let that Amazon logo deter you. This game is pretty fun if you give it a chance. I did lower it from my original rating I gave it, but I still think it's a pretty good game in general. It's got a little something for everybody, whether it be single player levels, multiplayer levels, level creator, Mr. Beast levels, etc.
And that's horrible. Weezy F, baby, and the F is for phenomenal.
Okay, so I may not have been the best player to experience the quality of this game. Because of that, a lot of my knowledge on the game is based on videos of other people playing it. And holy crap, I did not even know that there were branching paths and that you take which can lead you to a certain ending and it can be good or bad. So that's really cool, but other than that, I can't lie, it is just a zombie sim. But I do like the story and stuff that I missed, so that does bump it up for me.
And that's horrible. Weezy F, baby, and the F is for phenomenal. And that's horrible. Weezy F, baby, and the F is for phenomenal.
I did not know what to expect at all going into this, but I was pleasantly surprised. It is truly a Star Wars version of the Goonies. It's definitely not as good as the Goonies, but you get my point. It's just a fun show meant for kids, although it does have some surprisingly beautiful scenes. Like, one of my favorite episodes is a filler episode, mainly because of how good the dialogue and cinematography is. And also they got my guy Tunde Adebimpe acting in this, happy about that of course.
That's horrible. We the F, baby, and the F is for phenomenal.
In my opinion, the movie started out really strong, like almost amazing type strong. And I don't even know if this is still a hot take, but I really do like the decision to absolutely slime out Taskmaster mere minutes after she's reintroduced. Unfortunately though, this movie as a whole felt like a downward slope to me. I don't mean to generalize the quality of the movie entirely because there are really dope scenes throughout it, but it was like everything past the first act was half-baked. To me, it just felt like a whole lot of nothing. Not to mention, the final quote-unquote battle was underwhelming. And I don't mind that it wasn't an actual fight, but it was just too simple. Oh, and they completely fumbled that ending. Like, yeah, they're the new Avengers now, are we f***ing kidding?
That's horrible. We the F, baby, and the F is for phenomenal.
The goats, they're back at it again! And they cooked yet again, mostly. The plot is very intriguing, creepy, and surprisingly emotional, but also kind of fundamentally flawed. Like, I hate to say it, but it is kind of predictable. And there's a lot of things that they kind of just drop on us and don't touch on for the rest of the movie, which I don't have a huge problem with as long as it adds to the mystery and intrigue of the plot. And it does for this movie, but it happens so much. There's a limit to what I can take. Still pretty good, just let's get back up to great status, guys.
That's horrible. We the F, baby, and the F is for phenomenal.
Out of all of the movies I've seen for this list, this is the one I definitely need to rewatch the most. I remember having my breath taken away at the submarine sequence and rolling my eyes at the scenes that reminded me of a soap opera. Definitely not the best Mission Impossible, but it holds its own, and it still has that great Mission Impossible action. It's just held back by its more unnecessary additions.
That's horrible. We the F, baby, and the F is for phenomenal.
10 out of 10 dialogue, I too would be saying the F word any chance I could get. It is a very tight movie, if that makes sense. It hits all the points it needs to, and it doesn't bother to hold its story back by delving into how the world became a dystopia, because none of that really matters to the story. But for me, there's just nothing amazing about it to warrant a higher rating. Like, everything was pretty good. Nice job, guys.
That's horrible. We the F, baby, and the F is for phenomenal.
Genuinely did not expect Tyler to drop, but he did. And he did a pretty good job. Unlike Deadbeat by Tame Impala, the lyrics work in favor for this unique hip-hop dance album, and it allows itself to just sit back and give you straight vibes. Mom and M is a travesty, though.
That's horrible. We the F, baby, and the F is for phenomenal.
When I'm not with you, when I went with you, send this to your best friend.
That's horrible. We the F, baby, and the F is for phenomenal.
This album coming out is borderline a monumental achievement. Never would I have thought that I would get the privilege to hear 21 unreleased Q Lazarus songs. It's kind of a shame that none of the songs live up to the original Goodbye Horses, or even White Lines for that matter, but it really doesn't matter because we get to listen to f***ing unreleased Q Lazarus songs, and it is still a really good album if you're looking for alternative 80s songs.
That's horrible. We the F, baby, and the F is for phenomenal.
Hey, it's about time Vince Gilligan did something outside the Breaking Bad universe. Actually, that's still kind of up for debate, but whatever. It has come to my attention that I seem to not like this show as much as most people. I thought the first episode was a really good start to the show, nothing amazing though in my opinion. I thought the finale was disappointing and flawed, though still decent, and everything else in between was pretty good. The cinematography is clearly the main positive for this show, not including the very interesting plot, though I fear it isn't executed in the best way. Anyways, yeah, still pretty good overall. Looking forward to the next season.
That's horrible. We the F, baby, and the F is for phenomenal.
Another song from the deluxe version of Fanagram's newest album. This one I feel fits more into the rest of the songs on the album. Not too much here though to make it a standout of any kind, but I think Weathen did a really good job cooperating with Fanagram's sound on this song.
That's horrible. We the F, baby, and the F is for phenomenal.
So for context, this is the movie that accompanied the album's release. I'm not really interested in documentaries, but I needed to see this one. It's well made overall, it made me emotional towards the end, and the director basically gives Hugh Lazarus complete freedom and control of telling the stories, which is a positive for the movie for the most part. R.I.P. Diane Lucky.
That's horrible. We the F, baby, and the F is for phenomenal.
It is so refreshing to finally have good Predator movies again. Yes, these were buns. And not only does it have an amazing concept, but it's also animated? Hell yeah! If you don't know what the concept is, it's basically about 3 interconnected stories from different time periods. One during the Viking era, one during feudal Japan, and one during World War II. Just if there happened to be a predator during those times. However, the thing that holds me back from liking this more is that each story kind of feels like a rinse and repeat from the one before it, and it doesn't help that the stories get less interesting as we go on. Like, I can't be the only one that thought that Torres was annoying as hell. Nonetheless, pretty good, just let's get back up to great status, guys.
That's horrible. We the F, baby, and the F is for phenomenal.
This is me if you even care.
That's horrible. We the F, baby, and the F is for phenomenal.
Is it safe to say that I was a little disappointed by this? I mean, the first movie is tough to beat, and I couldn't help but find myself not caring about the mystery all that much, but all the relationship problems between Judy and Nick are mostly really good. But besides that, I kinda don't feel like there's much else to talk about. Like, it is what it is, and that's okay.
That's horrible. We the F, baby, and the F is for phenomenal.
There's a lot of really good criticisms this movie makes, mainly politically, and the movie itself does feel profound. I just can't help but feel like the movie strangely starts running out of steam during the third act and was kind of overstaying its welcome. Though what saves it from a lower rating is that dream sequence at the end. A bit of a controversial take, but I loved it.
That's horrible. We the F, baby, and the F is for phenomenal.
Green Man is back!
That's horrible. We the F, baby, and the F is for phenomenal.
I don't know, guys. I was pretty satisfied with this season as a whole. It has one of the best episodes of the series, and it has the worst episode of the series. Yes, it's the finale, but I still thought it was decent, so take that. It's also similar to my thoughts on Pluribus, where besides the standouts, I thought the episodes were pretty good. And while I wasn't happy with how a major side plot wrapped up, I genuinely thought the ending of the main story was great. Call me a Squid Game glazer, but I really liked the third season.
That's horrible. We the F, baby, and the F is for phenomenal.
Same deal as the Whatever album. I'm not going to show my rating because I personally know the people who made this album. But I honestly was close to showing my rating because of how good this album is. There's just a full-on country song in there, and I'm not the biggest fan of country. On the other hand, though, the title track is genuinely like a 9 out of 10 song. So if you're interested in listening to a band bringing 70s rock and 90s grunge into the new age, then please go check this out.
That's horrible. We the F, baby, and the F is for phenomenal.
Okay, for starters, the sequence after the Fantastic Four meet Galactus for the first time is my favorite movie sequence of 2025. Secondly, the vibe of this movie is on point. The world they created is, dare I say, pretty fantastic. But here's the thing, the movie is structurally pretty basic, and unfortunately the third act is another Marvel CGI battle, which kind of sours it. So even though the space sequence was masterful, I can't fully bring myself to say that it was a great movie.
That's horrible. We the F, baby, and the F is for phenomenal.
Really good racing game that, like Fantastic Four, I can't bring myself to call it great. And that's really on account of the driving itself. Call me nitpicking, but I just do not like how the vehicles control in this game. Like, maybe it's something to do with the lack of surface tension, but it just feels so awkward to control. But besides that con, the game does maximize its potential, especially with all the cross-world features it has, and it can basically go toe-to-toe with the recent Mario Kart games. And that's really what you want with any racing game that comes out nowadays.
That's horrible. We the F, baby, and the F is for phenomenal.
I think we're in a really good direction. Let's try to bump it back up to Alien Isolation level, though.
That's horrible. We the F, baby, and the F is for phenomenal.
You're bricked, Finn's bricked, Carter's bricked, that guy's bricked.
That's horrible. We the F, baby, and the F is for phenomenal.
It's always cool when indie horror games get the mainstream spotlight from time to time, and I have to say, this one's a banger. Apparently I like this more than most people, but I completely stand by my rating. The feeling of paranoia that this game evokes alone is practically unmatched. I've seen people criticize how the replayability of this game isn't good because a lot of the NPCs are either 100% humans or 100% visitors all the time. And sure, yeah, but also no, there's so many NPCs that are random, and not to mention the different endings that you can get. And really quickly, the endings really push this game up to great status for me. They're just so well written. And on top of everything, they recently updated the game with even more NPCs and endings, so yeah, this game is great.
That's horrible. We the F, baby, and the F is for phenomenal.
I know this movie is known as a thriller, but I don't really see it that way. It simply just gets through with its intriguing plot and great acting. Nothing in here that blew me out of the water, but I was hella invested the entire time. The commentary on secrecy and relationships is also the cherry on top here, and it just makes this movie exactly what it wants to be, a damn good spy mystery.
That's horrible. We the F, baby, and the F is for phenomenal.
Carried by its story mode. Holy crap, I didn't know racing games could ever be this peak. But let's ignore the elephant in the room and talk about the base game. Of course, the controls are not my favorite, and I think the vehicles aren't necessarily made the best. Like, if you're gonna have some that are vastly different to play, why not make all of them vastly different to play? Other than that though, it does indeed maximize its potential, much like Crossworlds. City Trial is dope, and Top Ride is neat, but of course the shining star of them all is the Road Tour. And there's a whole other true ending, bro? Are we serious? Peak.
And that's horrible. We the F, baby, and the F is for phenomenal.
I was praying for this to be good, and god damn it, it was great. I really did not expect this movie to have not one, but two all-timer comedy scenes in it. The dumb story works in favor for the movie because it fully leans into the ridiculousness. Take notes, Megan 2.0. And it has surprisingly good action too. All in all, it's a great comedy movie. I would definitely recommend you guys go see it if you haven't.
And that's horrible. We the F, baby, and the F is for phenomenal.
We actually got another Mario Kart game, guys. Let's go! And I don't know about you guys, but I was really satisfied with what we got. All the new features, the new roster, game modes, it's all great. Although I still prefer Mario Kart 8 Deluxe due to how much content it has, what makes this comparison between the two games neck and neck is that Mario Kart World has an open world mode. Yes, yes, and yes, this is exactly what I've been waiting to see. Now I will admit, it is a very bare bones open world, but it is an open world nonetheless, so you still get the extra points from me.
And that's horrible. We the F, baby, and the F is for phenomenal.
All roads lead to Rome, ladies and gentlemen. Nothing mattered.
And that's horrible. We the F, baby, and the F is for phenomenal.
Hello?
And that's horrible. We the F, baby, and the F is for phenomenal.
Yeah, sure, bro. Make a deluxe version that only adds one new song. Why not? But regardless of my feelings towards that, this is a great song and definitely fits into the rest of the album. I guess I can see why he didn't add it to the main album, but I also kind of can't, so that just goes to show how good the song is.
And that's horrible. We the F, baby, and the F is for phenomenal.
The final extra song on Fanagram's deluxe album, and it's literally one of the songs from the original album, but with a big boy verse. I don't think the verse really changes my opinion of the song, so yeah, my thoughts are essentially the same as before, but if I had to choose, I would probably go for the original song just because Big Boy's verse is slightly out of place.
And that's horrible. We the F, baby, and the F is for phenomenal.
Thank you, Letterboxd, for being the only way I could even watch this movie. And for some reason, no trailers exist for this movie, so that's why you're actually seeing me talking about it. So essentially, this is like if Sisyphus made a horror movie, except the boulder is a car you drive with your friends. It's very clear that this movie is about life, what our purpose is, and how we should be spending our time on Earth. Very gripping, very existential, and has the best title drop I've probably ever seen in any movie. Go see this movie when it gets fully distributed.
And that's horrible. We the F, baby, and the F is for phenomenal.
Yeah, I'll say it. I think you guys are overhating on this season. Now, I can't really speak on how it stacks up to the other seasons because I haven't rated those yet, but in any case, guys, there were no bad episodes in this season. Yes, The Bridge is a low point, but the first episode is still the worst one of them all, guys. And don't get me started with the hate towards the finale. That was amazing. I feel like everyone is just forgetting that this is an 80s show and it is set up like one, cringy dialogue and all. Yes, guys, they made the dialogue like that on purpose.
And that's horrible. We the F, baby, and the F is for phenomenal.
What a great end to the Andor backstory. I think everybody's in agreement that this season is better than the first, but I do, however, feel like this season is very slightly overrated. The 8th episode is a masterpiece, yes. The next 2 episodes are awesome, and the finale is great. I think everybody likes those episodes slightly higher than what I said, but I don't think my feelings are that different, and I still thought the entire season was great.
And that's horrible. We the F, baby, and the F is for phenomenal.
Wow, dude, where do I even begin with this? Well, I guess I could start by saying that I did like this season slightly better than the first one, even though I didn't like the Woes Hollow episode as much as other people, and yeah, let me talk about that real quick. If it wasn't for all the big stuff that happened in that episode, I wouldn't have liked it nearly as much. I'm just not a fan of the setting or the plot of the episode, it's just not really for me. But putting aside my feelings for that episode, the finale is genuinely one of my favorite episodes of all time, and almost my favorite episode of the year. Not quite though, we'll get to that later. My only question is, how is the 3rd season possibly going to live up to the finale? Although, you know what? They did just that with a season 1 finale, so who am I to say?
And that's horrible. We the F, baby, and the F is for phenomenal.
It's so nice for there to actually be a trilogy of Knives Out movies and potentially more on the way. Now, it's always going to be hard to top the original Knives Out, and this installment does not, but it doesn't try to either. It's a whole different thing entirely. I find it all really compelling with the religious aspects, the impossible crime and whatnot, and I thought it wrapped up nicely in the end. It really did have the potential to be an amazing movie. I just think there's some slight stumbles along the way, and some of the shots seem overly pretentious to me, but great murder mystery overall.
That's horrible. Weezy F, baby, and the F is for phenomenal.
Oh, we are so back. Not to say that season 2 was bad by any means, but we are so back. We start out really good and it just keeps being consistently great until we unfortunately stumble in episode 5. Still thought it was pretty good, but we've yet to have a season that doesn't stumble. Crossing my fingers for season 4. But then we jump right back into it up until it ends with a masterpiece of an episode. IGN doesn't know what it's talking about. The whole fucking show is about random ass Viltrumites popping up and trying to kill Mark.
Stand ready for my arrival.
That's horrible. Weezy F, baby, and the F is for phenomenal.
So this was actually my most random movie watching experience I think I've ever had. So in early November, David came down and visited me for a little bit. We decided that we were gonna make the most of it and do a multimedia marathon that spanned like an entire day. The marathon is how we got around to filming the second episode of Dispatch. It's how I first started watching Pluribus. It's how I got David started on Breaking Bad. And it's how he got me started on Arcane. But for the number 2 slot, we knew that it needed to be a movie theater experience. And completely on a whim, we went to see Begonia. And man, it did not disappoint. It's tense, it's funny, and it really makes you wonder who's in the right. Some of the characters' evils are shown loud and clear, some are silent and hidden. And I love how the ending is both clear-cut and open to interpretation at the same time. It's great, great movie.
That's horrible. Weezy F, baby, and the F is for phenomenal.
We're at the top 10, guys, let's go! And yeah, I can already hear the criticisms for not rating this movie higher. And well, if the movie was just the prologue, it would be an easy 9.5 for me, at least. But as it goes on, I can't help but feel like these messages about power and revolution are being stretched thin. Though the movie is made like an epic odyssey of great proportions, so that does raise my enjoyment of it. And it's still really great, but just not a masterpiece in my opinion.
That's horrible. Weezy F, baby, and the F is for phenomenal.
Yeah, I rated a single above one battle after another. What of it? Anyways, I wish I had more to say about this song, but it's really just another great John Michelle and Anthony James song. It's a different sound than Ego Trip, so definitely looking forward to the next album. The instrumentals continue to be lush and loud in this track, and John's rapping skills are still on point. But yeah, that's about all I have to say.
That's horrible. Weezy F, baby, and the F is for phenomenal.
I don't care about Bone Temple, give me 28 months later.
That's horrible. Weezy F, baby, and the F is for phenomenal.
Holy crap, is this game fun to play. I honestly would have been content if the entire game was just a mining simulator. They just make punching stuff so addicting. And wow, good story? Like actually good story? In a Nintendo game? Wow. I'm not going to go into the plot points because I don't feel like spoiling in my top 10, but what the story turns into after Sublayer 1500 is incredible. The only thing that keeps me from giving this a 9 out of 10 is something at the end that has to do with our motivation. I just think it's really stupid. But great game, and it's my favorite from 2025.
That's horrible. Weezy F, baby, and the F is for phenomenal.
Damn, bro, this was so close to being a masterpiece. And it's all because of that damn first act. I get it, I understand why it's there, and it's deep and all, but it really doesn't connect with the main story all too well. But luckily, it doesn't prevent the greatness of the rest of the movie to shine on through, and it is fantastic. It makes me want to do something with my life. So if you watch this movie, please stick around past the first act. You will not regret it, hopefully.
That's horrible. Weezy F, baby, and the F is for phenomenal.
Thank God they did not have Shamik Moore with them, bro.
That's horrible. Weezy F, baby, and the F is for phenomenal.
Yeah, I know this album doesn't reinvent the wheel, but they made a fucking good wheel. A love letter to rap and Chipmunk soul, combined with great lyrics in my opinion. I know World's End is getting all the praise, but give some respect to Don't Save Me, that's my favorite. Basically, this whole album is high energy up until the World's End tonal shift where it becomes an introspective kind of sound. I feel like this is a completely worthy album to be my favorite of 2025. No, guys, I'm not one of those guys walking out of the movie wanting to have a Marty Supreme mindset. No, this guy is an asshole. And that's the point. He tries to shortcut and cheat his way through life and always deals with consequences of those decisions left and right, even to the point of leaving his bad decision impression on other people. I love seeing Tyler, the Creator, in this, and they got the guy from Shark Tank, huh? And he delivers my favorite piece of dialogue from any movie in 2025, huh? Don't take the fact that this movie is about ping pong at face value. It is way more than that. It's intense, poetic, and emotional, and I love how the movie ends for Marty's character arc. I really didn't expect this movie to be up this high on the list, but oh man, does this completely drain you emotionally. This was so uncomfortable to watch on practically all accounts, and I love movies that get you invested into the plot like that. The performances are outstanding all around, making it even more devastating as we see our main character Linda trying to search for the right answers in all of the wrong places. I would highly recommend this movie, but it will probably make you depressed. This is my favorite movie from 2025, and I stick with that.
Winner, winner, chicken dinner, all for me.
If you've seen this show, it's really not surprising that it's number 1 on my list. Similar to the previous movie on the list, it's filled with outstanding acting and a devastating plot. But what makes this show truly amazing is how every episode was filmed in one continuous shot. The camera does not cut, at least to our knowledge. Pair that up with extensive commentary on the youth in today's society and the dark thoughts that can pollute their minds, especially when it horrifically relates to women. I'm probably not the only one that would have this show at number 1, but I might be the only one that thinks the finale is not only the best episode, but my favorite episode of 2025. I know people love episode 3, but give episode 4 its flowers, I beg of you. And that's the end of the list. Guys, I've been wanting to do this video for so long, and considering that this is unfortunately the last year that this channel will be active, I decided to finally do it, regardless that this video is releasing in February. But nonetheless, hope you guys enjoyed the video, and please peacefully let me know your opinions on the projects that I rated. I'm very curious to know them. Again, hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next video.